or resume our today's session. Kindly all of you fold your hands, close your eyes. If you know this mantra, please recite along. If not, you can just patiently hear the mantra or the invocation prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatai Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Yesterday after the session, I was looking at your chat window. So I was reviewing all your chat messages, and your chat messages were incredible. I thought the Kurukshetra war ended 5,000 years ago, but you all were having another Kurukshetra war at the chat box. Each one of you were pulling the legs or the ears or the hands of everyone else and screaming at the top of your voice. So Hare Krishna, if you are so disturbed by somebody's typing a message, just simply ignore it. Don't scream at each other. Everyone was saying, stop typing the message. However, nobody stopped typing the message. Okay, so today, please don't get too much disturbed. If somebody has to say something, let it be. And in case, I don't want to disable the chat as some of you had requested me, because I might interact with you in between. So once again, stay focused. Don't get distracted with the chat messages. You attend the session, all right? Okay, we are talking about Ramayana, so at least we should learn something from it. Let's not get into Mahabharata too early. Let me just open the presentation for today, and we'll start our discussion right away. I just finished making the presentation a couple of minutes before. I have not yet seen the final thing, so there may be some things here and there, so deal with it. Okay, so we are today on the concluding session of this legend of Shri Ram and also of the Ramayana that I've been discussing. And today's discussion, we have two doubts that we'll be covering up, and then we'll get into the subject matter of the influence of Ramayana all over the world. So today we'll be talking about America and Africa. Some very interesting details will follow soon. So far we have discussed 6 doubts. I hope all of you remember that. In any ways, you have all the recordings available with all of you. These are 2 other doubts. Some people say, why Lord Ram had to follow Dashrath Maharaj, and he went to the forest. Because of him, everyone suffered. Dashrath Maharaj died, and all the residents of Ayodhya, they were crying for 14 years straight. So people say that Lord Ram acted irresponsibly. Lord Ram should not have acted. He should have understood the higher responsibility and so forth. They say like this. So we'll talk about it. And the last subject matter of doubts from Ramayana that we are discussing is, some people say, why Lord Ram had to act so harshly towards Surpanaka, such a sweet, wonderful sister of Ravana. After all, Ravana had, after all, Surpanaka had just made a simple proposal to Lord Ram. Now, she had not harmed Sita. Why did Lord Ram order Lakshman to cut off her nose? So these 2 questions we'll take a look today. They're interesting. So first, why did Lord Ram acted irresponsible? So they say Lord Ram was irresponsible in quitting his kingdom. So all of you have already studied Ramayana that we had been discussing all this while, and you know the details. KKE had two boons that she could ask from Dashrath Maharaj. And on that fateful night, when Dashrath Maharaj went to meet her, and the night on the evening, prior to that night, on the evening, Dashrath Maharaj announced that tomorrow morning Lord Rama will be coronated. As you know, the details how Mantra had, you know, uh, agitated KK in believing that this is a cheating with KK and cheating with Bharat. Like that, she spoke, and all those details are already aware to all of you. So that night, KK, when Dashrath Maharaj met KK said, "My dear husband, you had long ago given me two boons that I can ask for you, and today is the day I want to ask." Dashrath said, "Yes, please go ahead." And the very first boon, she said, "I want my son Bharat to become the king of Ayodhya." Dashrath Maharaj was already, literally, he got a heart attack. And then second boon, she said, "I want Ram, the son of Kaushalya, should be sent to the forest." In other words, exiled to the forest for 14 years like that. So when Dashrath Maharaj heard this, he was dumbstruck. And eventually Lord Ram was called. Dashrath Maharaj did not speak anything to Ram. It was Keki who told Ram that your father had given me two blessings or two benedictions, and these are the two benedictions. First is Bharat will become, your younger Bharat will become the king of Ayodhya. And Ram said, "My dear mother, I'm more than happy. I mean, you could have asked me, even what father, if you would have asked me, I would have agreed to your proposal. Bharat is just like, my life. I love him. Fine if he wants to become the king." And KK said, "No, not only that. Ram, my second boon to Dashrath, which Dashrath Maharaj fulfilled, is that you have to be exiled to the forest for 14 years. And Ram looked at Dashrath Maharaj, and Dashrath Maharaj was crying, was in pain and agony. And understanding the situation, Lord Ram said, "Hey, Mata, you could have told me directly. Look at my father's condition. He's so disturbed because he cannot, bear the separation from me, and he's so pained because he had to give you this blessing. You could have asked me." Nonetheless, Lord Ram said, "Okay, I'll follow whatever my father has said." And Dashrath Maharaj said, "Hey Ram, wait! You don't have to follow. You don't have to follow my blessing, my boons that I gave to KK. I disown this lady. She's no more my wife. I have no relationship with her, and I have no relationship with her. Then my boons also does not remain valid." However, Lord Ram said, "My dear father, you have already given your word. We belong to a dynasty where whatever the king said has to be followed." So Lord Ram, being vowed or being sticking to the vow of his father or the blessings of his father, Lord Ram decided to go to the forest. Now you have to understand, it was a huge sacrifice for Lord Ram. And along with that, Lord Ram didn't go alone, but the Sita had to go, Lakshman had to go, and not only these three had to perform a sacrifice. What about the wife of Lakshman? Urmila had to also undergo so much sacrifice. But the key message which people fail to understand about Lord Ram's personality, that he had come, as we discussed yesterday, Yadyad Acharati Shreshtas, Tattad Eva Tarojana. Lord Ram had come not to destroy and kill demons, but also set an example for the kings of the world or for the citizens of the world, how to be a good citizen or how to be a good leader, how to be an ideal person. And if you imagine, Lord Ram would have agreed to Dashrath's proposal that, okay, I will not follow your vow if you're asking me to stay back. Then later on in the future, the citizens of Ayodhya could have taunted Ram. Just like your father gave a promise and did not fulfill his promise. Similarly, Ram being the son of Dashrath, who knows? You're giving a promise, but it may be an empty promise. So Lord Ram, considering all the situations, as we discussed yesterday about the responsibility of an ideal king, Lord Ram, because he didn't want anyone to doubt him or doubt the great Dashrath Maharaj. That's the reason he went on to the forest, undergoing a severe amount of austerities and sacrifices. Look at the reality today in the world. People fight to become the king. People fight for the property. The brothers fight for the property. Here, you all know what happened later on when Bharat Maharaj came. Bharat was begging Ram, "Please come back." But yet Lord Ram did not go. And similarly, Bharat also did not go and became the king. So those times and the culture was entirely different, which people of today's time, if they're not educated in scriptures like Ramayana, cannot understand the depth of sacrifice. So it was about sacrifice and keeping the words of his father, which was given a great importance in those days. Coming to the second and the last concern of the question about the subject matter is some people again, people are hilarious. They speak anything and everything, but because all of you are growing up kids, it's good to know certain things. So when your faith is challenged, you have a strong answers to give to these kind of questions. Some people say, "Oh, Surpanaka did not committed a crime. She proposed Ram. Why Lord Ram had to be so harsh and ordered Lakshmi to cut off her nose?" Now, first of all, let's look into the scenario. Now, Surpanaka proposed to Lord Ram. Lord Ram said, "Well, I have taken a vow that I cannot marry any other woman. I'm just, I'm going to marry a single woman, and I've already married Mother Sita. Well, if you want, Lakshman is here alone. You can be with Lakshman." And when Surpanaka changed her mind, first of all, that was her character. There was no faithfulness, no loyalty. She immediately changed her mind and she approached Lakshman. And Lakshman said, "Oh, no, 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 this is not going to work out. If you decide to marry me, then imagine you'll have to become a servant of Sita because I am a servant of Rama and Sita. So this is not going to be workable." So Lakshman rejected. When Lakshman and Ram both rejected Surpanaka because she was such an envious lady, she became so upset. She thought the Sita who is there with these two men, she is responsible. Na rahega bas, na bajegi basari. Let me kill this Sita so that they both would not have an excuse to reject me. Now, in today's time, according to the understanding of the law, the person can be punished only when he commits a crime. So you can give him a punishment, but it was not like that in those days. People were not so foolish in the past that they'll wait for the crime to happen. If a person acts aggressively, just like Surpanaka charged towards Mother Sita to kill Mother Sita, do you think Lord Ram would have waited? Okay, let her commit an act of aggression, let her commit the crime, then we'll go and file a case in High Court, and then the proceedings will continue, and we'll talk about that, this is what happened. No, it didn't used to happen like that. The system was very intact and strong. As soon as Lord Ram saw Surpanaka having an intention to kill Mother Sita, he ordered Lakshman, because she is an aggressor, so give appropriate punishment to the aggressor. And that time Lakshman chopped off the nose of Surpanaka. So it was not at all a harsh decision. This is a foolish understanding of some naive and ignorant people who think that Surpanaka did not deserve a punishment because she didn't commit an act of violence. So in other words, they think if Sita could have been harmed, then it could have happened. No, the law did not work like that in those days. Ideally, it should not work like that, but it's an unfortunate situation. However, Surpanaka did have a desire that she wanted to have that loving exchange with Lord Ram, but Lord Ram could not fulfill that desire because of, he had taken a vow to remain true to one wife. However, in Krishna Leela, it is explained in Brahma Vaivarta Puran that when Lord Ram or when Krishna appeared, this Kubja or this, oh come on, I took the name. So this Surpanaka appeared as Kubja. I thought I'll ask you a question, who was that person, but accidentally the name came out. So this Surpanaka appeared as a Kubja, the deformed lady. And when Krishna met her, he kept his feet on her toes, and with his hand, he lifted her from her chin, and she had a big hump on her back. She was what they call, there was some disease with her, and she became she was a very ugly looking woman before she met Lord Shri Krishna, and she was carrying something for Kamsa. On the way, Krishna, Balaram, and other Gopas met her. At that time, Krishna gave this mercy to her, and when Lord Shri Krishna touched her, she got freed from her deformity and she became a very, very beautiful lady. And this Kubja was none other than Surpanaka. And Surpanaka had a desire to have a loving exchange with the Lord. Lord Shri Krishna had fulfilled the desire of Kubja in this particular incarnation. So ultimately, Lord, whatever he does for the good. Just like Lord Ram killed Ravana. Now, okay, Lord Ram killed Ravana, whatever people have to think about it. But what was the end result of Ravana's death? Well, Scripture says that whoever is killed by the Lord, they get liberated from the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. That is the highest benediction. If a person does not have faith in the concept of God, does not understand who God is, does not understand who Lord Ram and Lord Shri Krishna and other incarnations, then they'll keep on doubting and keep on talking some unnecessary questions. So with that, so far we have covered 8 prominent, as far as I can recall, the doubts or people raise a question about Ramayana. So with that, we pause here. We'll continue our discussion now on to the next part of discussion, which is about uh, our the legend of Ram or legend of Ramayana found in the rest of the world. So Southeast Asian countries we have totally covered. Along with that, we have covered Europe, Russia. I believe yesterday we spoke about Europe and we gave you some evidences from Italy and so forth. What evidences have been found in excavation there. And this is about Vatican City. And today, our subject matter is about Ramayana in America and Africa. We'll put it this way. Ramayana in America and Africa means also the Vedic culture in America and Africa, because these are the two continents which are very for discussion. So let's begin with, first of all, America. Let's say North America and South America. Let's do it this way. The person on the right that you see here in the photo, they are called as natives, indigenous tribe of America. Does anyone know what were the Native Americans known by? Just to see how much you all know history. Does anyone know that? What they were called as? Yes, Red Indians. By the way, I'm audible to all of you clearly? Can you just respond back and saying yes? Okay, good, I'm audible. Good. Yes, they were called as Red Indians. Why they were called as Red Indians? That's an interesting thing. So our history book teaches us that it was Columbus who discovered America. However, Columbus had left Europe, not in the search of America. He had left Europe in search of India. However, on the way, on the sea route, he lost his way. He ended up onto a land which he later on got to know was in America, or was later on given the name America. That was not the name of that land then. It was later on named as America. So when he reached the land, he thought he has reached India. And when he saw the people who had red skins, that is the time he started calling them as Red Indians. So the tribe, indigenous tribe, was not known by the name of Red Indians. It was Columbus who misunderstood that tribe belonging, considering to be the native of India, but had a red skin. So he called them as Red Indians. Very interesting. This is what our history book teaches us, and also teaches us that Vasco da Gama, the contemporary of Columbus, found India as if India and land of America did not exist before, as if there was no culture and so forth. Now, if we refer to his various historical references in Valmiki Ramayana, I'm just quoting this as it is. I'll give you the reference in a short while. Something very interesting is written by an author by the name of P.N. Oak. He has written a book, very famous book, Blunders of Indian Historical Research. And I'm quoting P.N. Oak, what he writes in the book. He says, if we refer to various historical references in Valmiki Ramayana, we will find that American continent has been referred as Patal Desh. Now he explained why he's considering American to be as Patal Desh. He says Patal means below foot. If we geographically see, then we'll find that American continent is just below the Indian subcontinent. Actually, that is true. You can look into the Google map, you'll find it that way. However, there's some more interesting things here. Let's take a look. This is just a little bit information about America. We'll consider American continent, North and South America together. And there's something very interesting about North and South America together, because it's a one continent. Do you know Mayasura? Does anyone remember who Mayasura is? Mayasura comes both in Ramayana and Mahabharata. In Ramayana, what is the context of Mayasura? Mayasura was a father of somebody, very prominent person in Ramayana. Okay? Anyone knows about Mayasura's connection in Mahabharata? Because all of you are going to study Mahabharata soon, so I thought I'll raise that question. Okay. Yes, Archana Yadav writes correctly. Mayasura was the father of Mandodari. Mayasura was a son of Kashyapa and Diti, and he was the father of Mandodari. In other words, he was father-in-law of Ravana. So it is explained that one day Ravana had a conflict with his father-in-law. And because of the conflict, Mayasura left Lanka. Now, Mayasura is also known as the greatest architect. Mayasura's reference comes in Mahabharata also. I'll just give you a quick detail about it, not going too much into details. Mayasura was responsible for building an incredible Indraprasth for Pandavas. And this you will study in Mahabharata more when this incident comes. So Mayasura, so he had gone to Patal Loka. So P.N. Oak, the person who I'm referring, he speaks, he says, if you take a globe, and if you have a globe, you can try it out and it makes sense. If you take a globe and pierce a hole where India is, the needle will reappear where Mexico and Central America is. Please 1 second, give me a quick second. He has a control for it. So, I mean, call up the control. नंबर भेज चुका हूँ आप भेजिए और क्या आपको पहले बताइए मुझे आप लीजिए कंटिन्यू अपना क्लास आप चाहे तो मेरे फोन से कीजिए कॉल करो डायरेक्टली yeah he'll pick up the phone. Hare Krishna. What we were talking about, yes, so this is another reference which is given how Patalo, give me a quick second, I'll just close the door. So this is another way, actually interesting way. The author suggests that actually Patalok, where Mayasura went, it was actually, it is said down below earth. And if you look at the globe, that's what they're trying to give a connection. However, there is more to it. And how and what is the connection more into it, which looks like quite probable. You all might have heard about Mayan culture. I don't know. You probably, some of you are young, you might not be aware of it, but there is a Mayan civilization in South America. The base of this Mayan civilization, which was prevalent in most of South America, was Mexico. And I'll speak more about this civilization. Mayan sounds very familiar, close by to Mayasura. However, the connection is the Mayan civilization was very advanced in architectures. And the historians who have studied the architectures of Mayan civilization and the Vedic architectures, they found incredible similarity between the architectures of Mayan civilization as well as of Vedic civilization. And that's how they're making a connection. This is Mayan civilization was started by none other than Mayasura. And more references about this details about Mayan periods and all that is mentioned or is written by Marcus Shimeke from the European Academy of Vedic Sciences. Just a reference, I'm not sure it will be of any use to you. Let's take a look more. So who were Mayans? Who are Mayans? These Mayans were indigenous people of Mexico and Central America, one of the very ancient culture. Their ancient capital city name was Mayapan. It's very interesting because their ancient city capital was Mayapan. From that Mayapan, they came to be known as Mayans. And Mayapan and Mayasura sounds quite closely connected. They are credited for having a tremendous architectural skills and had built tremendous scriptures. This is another reference link where you can find more details about Mayan civilization. Not only that, when Srila Prabhupada had visited Mexico for the first time, where this Mayan civilization was based off, Prabhupada had commented, oh, the people of this country and the climate of this country reminds me of India. I have been to Mexico a few times myself, and they actually look quite close to Indians. I mean, of course, after so many thousands of years and so much mixing of different cultures, some may look a little different. However, quite a few people look like actually Indians. Let's take a little more details into it. Not only that similarities, there are similarity in the structure, architecture, similarity in the climate or the features of a person, also the name Maya, like that. In fact, they have list of devtas. They have list of devtas in their culture who are just similar to demigods mentioned in our scriptures. You see the picture on the right here? The name of this personality is Chak. Now this Chak is their devta, is their god of rain. Who is the god of rain in our civilization? In Vedic culture? Indra, yes. So they also had, I'm just giving you some names here, okay? They have a all big list of names of gods for different features as we found in Vedic culture. Another interesting. Tazamna, I don't know how to pronounce everything. The ruler of the heavens. Zishel, the Mayan moon goddess. Kinich Ahu, like that, the sun god. And so many names are there. If you're interested, I have included the reference here where you can go and find the names of all the gods. And you will see this is the only civilization in the last 5,000 years who actually recognize that there are gods for different things. There's a god of air, there's a god of water, there's a god of, the sky and so forth, just like our Vedic culture recognizes. So Mayan civilization also recognizes things. Let's go a little more in South America. But however, just to tell you little details about this Mayan civilization, over a period of time, because of, as usual, because of foreign invasions and so forth, the civilization was lost, and so forth. The culture of Mexico got mixed with Christianity and so forth. So the people today, they don't recognize much of these things, but still a lot of people have, in the local tribe of Mexico, still even up to today, the drama on Ramayana is being performed. So quite a few people there still know Ramayana, but they don't have any understanding of what's their connection with Ramayana. And again, Ramayana has been localized according to their culture. Let us take you to another place in South America. Very interesting place. This is called as Peru. And you may see in the photo, there is a trident. Now, this is a big, huge mountain. On top of it, there is a huge, gigantic trident engraved in the mountain. Nobody knows from where this trident came. This trident of Peru is a well-known prehistoric geoglyph found in Peru, and nobody has any clue what is the purpose and how it came. The reason for its creation is unknown to the scientists, although it is most likely a representation of a trident, a lightning rod of the god Virocha. The god Virocha is considered as a god in Peru who people used to worship, who is seen as a mythology throughout South America. The most of the South American people understand this Virocha god. Now, what is this connection of this Virocha or this trident with Ramayana and Vedic culture? There is a very close connection. Let's take a look here. The trident was known to ancient civilization of Peru and also the Vedic people during Ramayana period. How during Ramayana period? Very interesting fact. This was the reason in Ramayana when Sugriva, you all know, right, after the end of the 4 months of Chaturmas, Sugriva sent out his army in all the 4 directions, north, south, east, west. So when he had sent his people in the east direction, he had told the Vanaras going in east direction to go to the farthest of the east direction and look for a trident etched on a mountain top. So Sugriva was aware of it and he directed Vanaras to come up to this place. And the exact verse in Valmiki Ramayana is given here. What happened? Yeah. And this is the verse which is given in Valmiki Ramayana, the 4th canto, 40th chapter, 53rd to 55th verse, where it is said what I am talking about. So I'm not going to read the whole details, it will take time, but this is a reference. And as all of you might be aware of, Srila Prabhupada said that Ravana had built a tunnel from Lanka to Brazil because Brazil was a place where there was so much gold, and he had sent his brother Kumbhakarna and others to extract gold, and all the gold was transferred from Brazil to Lanka through the tunnel. So Prabhupada speaks about it. So this is about America. There are many more details I'm not including. Let's, from America, move on to Africa. Okay, let's come to Africa now. So the last thing about, in South America, the trident. Why the presentation is getting hanged? Okay, let's come to Africa now. You see an emperor or the king on your right. Very interesting personality. His name is Haile Selassie. His name was, he's dead now. He was the emperor of Ethiopia. And an Indian sannyasi was visiting Ethiopia and that sannyasi had gifted him a copy of Ramayana. When this king, Haile Selassie, got the copy of Ramayana, he smiled and he said, "Sir, we all are descendants of Lord Rama." Interesting, isn't it? The king or the emperor of Ethiopia is saying that we all are nothing but the residents of Ethiopia are descendants of Lord Rama. Let's take into more details. He was the last king who ruled from 1916 to 1928 or 1930 like that. And he explains further how Ethiopians are descendants of Lord Rama. He said Ethiopians earlier were known by the name of Kushites. Ethiopians को पहले उनके ancestors के समय में उनको Kushites के नाम से बोला जाता था. And then he explains the name Kushites came from the name of son of Lord Rama, Kush. Love Kush were the sons of Ram. So Kushites were nothing but the descendants of Kusha or Kush, and that's how the people of Ethiopians were known for generations and years altogether by the name of Kushites. Now the country Ethiopia is called today, but in the earlier time, this was not called as Ethiopia. It was called as Kusha Dvipa, or the land of the son of Rama. Now you might be wondering, Prabhu, why and how when all the history changed. I will speak about all this thing on Monday when we speak about Mahabharata. I'll give you a glimpse of history of the last 5,000 years and the history around Mahabharata time. Then you'll get to know how we lost all this knowledge, why their names have been changed. Some of the things I'll mention in remaining time that we have today also. So today is the last session, so I may go 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes above our scheduled time, okay? There's still some more information to be shared here. Now you see on the map, this is Ethiopia. Ethiopians admit this is a map of Africa, admit their ancestor as Cush, and they quote the biblical story of Cush being a son of Ham, a phonetic misnomer of Ram. This only confirms to the widespread influence of Ramayana, even in a land that is 3,000 miles away from the mainland of India. So this is about Ethiopia, which was known as Kushadweep. Descendants of Kusha were living here, or descendants of Kush lived here. From Ethiopia, we'll go a little above on Egypt. Let's talk about Egypt. What's the connection with Egypt here? Now, Egypt derives its name from Ajapati. Now, Ajapati was the name of Lord Rama's forefathers. Now, according to various legends in Egypt, they contain references of Dashrath Maharaj, the father of Rama, and thus even 5,000 kilometers away, you can see how Ramayana had an influence. In other words, you all might be wondering, Prabhuji, how did these people came to live here so far away? I'll give you that answer in a short while. If all of them were living around the Bharat and so forth, why and how, in what situation people went so far away to live? We'll talk about in a quick second about it. Like this, and Egypt is known historically for very various reasons. They have great pyramids, a great Nile River, and so forth. It has its own great history. Let's a little bit go from Egypt. We're going to enter the Middle East. You see this? This is the map where the Africa connects with the Middle East. We'll enter Middle East and we'll cover 2-3 places in the Middle East. Let's enter Azerbaijan. The traces of Vedic age can be seen even today. Oh, we'll talk about Iran first. Iranians have the culture of reverence to fire, an essential sacrificial tool in Vedic process. First of all, जिसको आज ईरान जानते हैं, historically it was not Iran. Up to 700-800 or I believe 1,000 years ago, around that time, it was known by the name of Parsi. It was Persia. Sorry, it was known as Persia. And who used to live in Persia? The people who used to live in Persia were called as Parsis. They worshipped the fire god. And you know that fire in Vedic culture have very close connection, because in Vedic culture we talk about fire sacrifice, and fire is considered one of the most purifying agents. So interesting connection here of the people of Parsis with a fire god. Before Muslim invasion of Iran, it was called as Persia, and the people there followed Zoroastrianism faith. Zoroastrianism faith means the people believed in the fire god, and like that they believed in other gods also. However, when Muslim invaded Persia, in less than 25 years, they either butchered, they killed people, or else they converted everyone else into Muslims. And that's a sad story and history about it. Let's go a little more in Middle East, one of the last examples. There is another place called as Armenia. Armenia has an ancient structure which is called as the Temple of the Little Blue Boy. All of you know who is the Little Blue Boy. It refers to Krishna. This is that, apparently this is said to be the temple. It is called as Temple of Garni today. Now, a French historian even claimed that the original Armenians were worshippers of Shri, Radha and Krishna. So there is no worship happens in this temple of Garni. This is a 1,000-year-old structure, but this was found in excavation and this is what it is looks like today. And this is where Armenia, and the French historian mentions about it, that the people of Armenia were actually worshippers of Shri, Radha and Krishna. So not only this, like this, many other places which we could not discuss, the Vedic culture or the influence a lot, the influence on our mind was there. So a quick question: how does this people went on to go and settle in so far off places in the world? And there is a very interesting story comes in our scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam also talks about, and that is about the personality. All of you can recognize who is this person on the right? Anyways, I've already shown. That is Percheron. And our scriptures explain that Percheron was a great warrior who had destroyed the warrior classes many times. I believe yesterday we were talking about Dashrath Maharaj had 300 wives. Do you know why he had 300 wives? Because Percheron had taken a vow that he will not kill a Kshatriya if he's getting married. So Dashrath Maharaj had kept a spy. And anytime Percheron came to kill the warrior class at Ayodhya, which means Dashrath Maharaj immediately would go and sit in the pandal and he will be getting married. So like that he survived, and like that he got married to so many ladies. That's one of the reasons. So because Percheron went on to kill so many Kshatriya race, it's a very beautiful story. We'll discuss about the story in future. So because of the fear of Percheron, the Kshatriya class ran into different parts of the world and they got settled. And over a period of time, due to the far distance from the mainland of India, the culture of Rama and worship of Krishna deteriorated over the period of time. Similarly, you see here Ram and Lakshman killing demons. Do you remember who these two demons which Ram and Lakshman had killed at the ashram of Vishwamitra Muni? Who were the two brothers? Marich and Subahu, yes. So we all know how Subahu was killed and Marich was shot by the arrow and he went flying 800 miles away into the Indian Ocean. And you know the place where Maricha landed? What is that place? Where Lord Rama shot an arrow at demon Maricha and disposed him off to the middle of an ocean. He settled in an island and that place was called as Morita, or later on evolved as Mauritius. If you look at the map, Indian Ocean, India map, and below Indian map is map of India is Indian Ocean, and if you go down Indian Ocean, at the corner, 300 miles away from African continent, you will find a very small island, which is called as Mauritius. This is the island where Maricha was residing. That's how the name came to be. So with that, we come to the conclusion of our discussion, and that is how we can see Ramayana and Vedic culture had a worldwide influence. And these are some of the concluding points. Unfortunately, modern scholars declare Ramayana to be a fiction. In most bookstores, Ramayana is classified as mythology. Now, after hearing all this thing, do you still consider Ramayana to be mythology? There are so many evidences. So what do you think? Do you still think Ramayana to be mythology after so much evidences? Yes or no? Yes, it's not a mythology. There's so much evidences. And I'll give you more details about it, why our scriptures are called as mythology on Monday, when we talk about the history of Mahabharata. Ramayana is a product of divine inspiration revealed in the heart of a devotee by the Lord himself. Even when Lord Krishna was personally present 5,000 years ago, Ramayana was well known. And up to recently, when we had the culture of kings, Ramayana was discussed in the palaces or in the assembly of the kings. So that's a point here. And not only this, if you look around, there are many, many things. For example, there is a special month for Muslims going on today. Does anyone know what is the special month which has started for Muslims now? What is the special month for Muslims going on? Yes, look at this. Ramadan, Ramadn. Why interesting, huh? Ramadan, you call it. You see Lord Rama's name there? Do you pay attention? You all are typing into the chat box. You know, you call it Ramzan or Ramadan. The name of Lord Ram is there. Not only this, the place in Gaza Strip, which comes, I believe, in Israel, is it Israel, I believe, which is a place of conflict between Jews and Muslims, is known by the name of Ramallah. It's known by the name of Ramallah. Like this, there are many, many evidences, but over a period of time, due to the rise of religions, some religions, prominent religions of the world today, particularly Christianity and Islam, in those days they believed that apart from their religion, no other religion have right to sustain. So whenever they would invade any country, just like I gave an example of Persia, when Muslims invaded that country, they either killed everyone or else they converted each one of them in their faith of Islam. And when they would do like this, those days, they will also destroy all the archaeological or all the historical monuments and things like that. One of the recent things that had happened in Afghanistan, where the terrorists or the Afghani rebels had destroyed the huge statue of Buddha carved in a mountain. And like that, these people from certain religions had destroyed the presence of the all Asian architectures, and like that, we have lost many of the evidences of the presence of Vedic culture. Yet, through archaeological evidences, there are still many more evidences available, and some of the things we have discussed today with all of you. We'll continue this discussion on history when we talk about Mahabharata next week. With that, there are a lot of details more that can be discussed, but I thought let's pause on Ramayana. So when Monday we begin with Mahabharata, we'll give you more details about the presence of Vedic culture and the reason why today people consider Vedic scriptures to be mythology. So with that, we thank you all very much for being with all of us for almost last, I believe, 3 weeks. We have been doing Ramayana for the last 3 weeks. So are you all happy with Ramayana that we did? If you all were happy, you have to raise your hands high up both. Were you happy listening about all the history that we discussed? So you have to loudly scream, Haribol! I want to see you. Once more. We're going to go and do it 3 times. Haribol! Once more. Haribol! Okay, good. So I'm not asking you to do it forcefully, but I hope you are happy with what you attended and what you got to learn. You are in a very important age where you'll be taught everything in your school, which is against the Vedic culture, against God consciousness. That's the reason I thought I'll discuss all this history. So, important announcement. We don't have a class on Saturday and Sunday. We will be meeting on Monday now. So, however, on Saturday and Sunday, we'll be having a discussion from Gita Wisdom. So, tomorrow we'll be discussing about reincarnation. So, in case some of you are interested, you can join. And second thing, I have a homework for all of you. We have a quiz for all of you on Ramayana. So let me quickly show you a sample quiz here. I couldn't complete it, so I'll complete and share it with you in your WhatsApp group. So you see this quiz? It's a final test based on Ramayana. I will complete the paper and will send it to you by today evening. So you all have to fill it up, write down your name, age, and submit it to me by Sunday or else by Monday morning. So please do take it seriously and do fill it up so I'll get to know how much you understood, how much you are learning. And with that, thank you once again. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll stop here. If any one of you have any questions, you want to speak something, you can speak. And for rest all, the session is ended. If you want, you can leave now. Hare Krishna.